All right, here we are with segment three, one of the most fun ones. Budgeting and guidelines for this year. So, we've got a variety of different things that are happening in the world of CHSA and athletics and some things that we're doing. So, I want to give you a quick overview on budgets and our guidelines and kind of where we're at. So, one of the questions I get is, hey, so what, we've got our team accounts. We've got our GBBC accounts. So the budget that I have, what do I use it for? And I will tell you, most of my budget goes to officials, but also, an overview of the program and how to improve the athletics program as a whole. But I will tell you that the biggest encroachment that I have every year is on my budget is officials. And so I wanted to make sure that you understood kind of what was going on. We've talked about this in head coaches meetings, but now is the real numbers. And so if you take 22-23, this past school year, as the base, and this is a good thing that's happening, but we also have to prepare for it. So, CHSA got approved in March. It segmented increases for officials over the next 3 school years. And so, when you look at 22-23 being our base, this is the percentages of increase over the base being 22-23 that we can expect over the next 3 years. So, going into 23-24, as you see right here that I'm highlighting, officials are going to increase by a third. Okay, so what does that mean in the grand scale of budget and where we're at? So in the average season, and I'm not saying per team, but in the average season, so your fall, your winter sports, and your spring, I would say we go anywhere between $13,500 to $15,000 for officials. If we make the playoffs, we have to tap back into that. And so out of my budget, 3 to 4 times a year, I'm putting increments of $15,000 to $18,000 in ASO so we can pay officials. And so when you look at encroachment, and so looking at our estimated budget for next year, with the 33% increase, we're looking at a $13,500 to $15,000 increase and encroached on our budget for this next year that we did not have this year. Now, as you just heard me say, an average season costs around $13,500 to $15,000 for a season on officials. So this is like adding another season of sports into our school year in regards to cost. Now, when you look at 24-25 being a 44% increase over 22-23, that's adding another season. So it'd be 2 seasons in addition of official costs compared to 22-23. And then obviously 25-26, you're looking at really essentially 3 seasons or a total encroachment of $45,000 to $55,000 over the next 3 years. So what are some steps that we're taking in order to absorb these costs and to make sure that we're still providing the best experience we possibly can for our student athletes and our programs? So student athletic passes, this was passed in April with the league athletic directors. So athletic passes, the cost was $40. It's going to $50 to help cover increased cost of officiating. And so those student athletic passes, we're just going to make it $50 and we go from there. Now, another thing that comes out, of budgets is obviously halftime help and reservations and scheduling and that sort of thing. And so with the increased costs there, we're going to change our admissions costs as well. So as of July 1st, so as I'm making this, I am outside. Thank God nobody's lighting fireworks. We just had some earlier, but as of July 5th, so we are looking at $8 for adults, $5 for students or seniors to help with increase in costs also. And so the other thing I want you to be aware of is, like, for example, volleyball, basketball, or indoor gym sports. We are going to be charging for JV and varsity. So if it's a big gym team, they are going to be charged. Because what I'm finding is we have parents and they knew the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. They'll go over to halftime help or come over for basketball and go, oh, I'm just here for the JV game. Well, they don't leave. So it's their way of not having to pay. I've had parents from other schools get mad. Why are you charging for JV? But then they're there for the middle of the JV game, but they're really there for varsity. And so we're trying to make sure that we're taking care of that and making sure that we're going to have increased revenue for those sports and our programs. Now, in regards to fundraising, I have started working, as you know, with Northwest District Chamber of Commerce, people in the community, working on with GBBC. We have a flyer that we've sent out for sponsorships for Score Vision, our video boards in the gym, including our outdoor events like a Halftime Help Stadium and some PAs in regards to advertising during timeouts or in between innings or halftime, and that's gone really, really well. And on July 26th, I'm going to be able to share with you some definite inroads that we have made in regards to fundraising and sponsorships, and have a couple people that are helping me with that speak on those days. And I'm really excited to share that, but I don't want to spoil the thunder now. But know that our first two goals for fundraising is the $7,000 for Score Vision for the program and the sponsorships and the ads, as well as I'm going to try to raise $25,000 to do the Huddle franchise that we've talked about. This past year we paid $12,000. I'm trying to take that off of coaches and have that be part of our fundraising efforts. And then everything above that will be for capital projects, including if I can help with storage containers, lights, power to the press box on the turf, which we found a way that we might be able to do that now that's much cheaper and easier. I will know more in the next week on that, so I'll be able to share that on July 26th and get into some more of those capital projects that we have, like sodding fields and better backstops for ball fields and that sort of thing. So let's talk P cards. So we have some new guidelines. P cards, as you know, we are a 501(c) with GBBC, so we have to make sure that we are always in compliance with how we are administrating P cards, how we're spending, how we're purchasing, and the paperwork that goes with that, and the transparency that we have. So from Robin, not just Robin, but Bob, as well as Betty and Mandy Wolkowiak, who are going to be taking over as treasurers for GBBC. These are some hard you shall guidelines. I'm going to put it that way for P cards. You must bring a detailed itemized receipt of all allowable expenses with the card. So when you go out, you use the P card, you bring it back, you better have a receipt with you. If the receipt's not with the card, you're going to be subject to loss of P card privileges for a period of time. Based on the severity and based on what it is, I know in the past we've had coaches lose that privilege for a year. We've had coaches lose that privilege for a few weeks. It can also penalize Brandy and myself with our P cards, that we could go where we have to go a month before we can get them reinstated, and we do not want to be in that position. So please make sure you get an itemized receipt. Mistakes, certain things happen. If there's some problems with it, contact us. Let us know so we can get on that vendor right away. So, and then it talks about, obviously, purchases over $5,000 will require a purchase order with the quote and the invoice. Purchases over $10,000, sorry, it looks like $10, but it should be $10,000. Require 3 quotes, purchase order, and additional steps. And you need to see Brandy, Robin, and I if you're looking at anything over $10,000. And then we do have, like I talked about, Betty and Mandy, who are going to be taking over in August as our treasurers for GBBC. They're going to be diligent in working with Brandy in regards to card checkouts, purchasing, receipts, and accounting. And we're going to make sure we are doing it the way we need to. We have got to make sure when you check that card out, we have the binder. You need to put the purpose. You need to put the invoice, the amount, estimated amount, that sort of thing. It needs to all be on that binder. So that way we can figure it out. Sean and I in June, we had to come up and figure out what receipts were missing and going through the binder, and we didn't have a really good detail. We have a great system in place. We just got to make sure we're using it. And then once we get into late October, that Halloween window, Robin will start to do budget runs again, so you know where your status is. And Brandy is going to be helping with that as well. So that way, as you're looking at purchasing for your programs, you know where you are. you know what money's encroached, and we can look at that real time and make sure that you guys are on top of it. So any questions in regards to budget, you need to reach out, let us know first. But in addition to that, make sure we are not just having credit card code, the numbers and that sort of thing. That is illegal, and you will lose privileges. Also, as district policy, and I know all coaches have been aware of this, we talked about it last year, we're going to talk about it again. If you use your budget to purchase P cards, you will lose your privilege of having a P card, and you're going to have to go the old check method, because we cannot have gift cards purchased for coaches out of your budgets. And on that.